How's it going, everybody? Max Ralph from PennLive here. Mini blue-white breakdown for you right outside of Haluba Hall. I made the poor decision of wearing shorts in relatively chilly weather, so I'm doing this from the warmth of my car. But not a ton of updates here today. Penn State getting ready to take on USC this weekend. They will leave tomorrow, Thursday, which is rare for them and something they're doing because of the length of the flight. I had a story about it earlier this week over on PennLive.com. They're flying out of Harrisburg, which adds some busing and everything. But to get into the news from practice, the big things that I saw, running back Nicholas Singleton, he was back out there this week, and from what we could tell, was a full participant, which is good news for Penn State, of course. James Franklin had mentioned earlier this week in his Monday press conference that they expected him to play this week. He even thought that they would have him last week, and then was kind of a late scratch on game day. So that's good for Penn State, and obviously their offense. Guys have talked all week that they're really just a different team with him out there. I mean, Katron Allen is great as a running back as well, but Nick has that big play ability, and he's a star, bottom line. So having him back is going to be huge. The other big one on the offensive side is we saw Anthony Donkoh, the starting right tackle. He was going through drills, appeared to be in a full capacity, and then James Franklin said afterward that they do expect to have him this weekend, which is just a huge boost. I mean, Nolan Rucci came in and did some good things against UCLA. He had a few missed assignments. He got beat a couple times in pass rush, but he did pretty well as a run blocker, I thought, against UCLA. He's that number 2 right tackle for a reason. He has been all year. He'll play some against USC, but having Donkoh back is huge because he has been just a really big bright spot for Penn State ever since he started that first game of his career at right tackle in the Peach Bowl last year against Ole Miss. So getting him back is huge. The other big one I noticed was not out there was wide receiver Caden Saunders, who has been dealing with a lingering thing for a long time here. We saw him with a boot on his foot on the field for warmups against UCLA. He hasn't been on the field for a single offensive snap this year. He's been the punt returner, but mostly has just pulled in fair catches. He's not looking like he's going to be available again this week. I mean, I don't know how you go from having a boot, not practicing, to being out there. And I asked James Franklin about that punting game because USC has punted the ball well so far with a pretty good distance, but at times out kicking coverage. So there's a chance to be a little bit explosive there. But Penn State has been one of the country's worst team in punt returns so far. James Franklin did say they expect to have defensive back Zion Tracy as the guy back there. He returned a couple last week and tried to get a few yards. Nothing really big from him, but they do think that he has the possibility to make some explosive plays back there. So that's something to keep an eye on. Zion should be the one doing the punt returning this week. Those were really the big updates we had. I'll have a few more smaller things on PennLive.com here tonight, a few more bits and pieces we caught from our practice viewing session. And yeah, make sure you tune in. Make sure you're following with us on all our socials. The other thing is, subscribe to our subtext. There will be a link in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, you can go find that pretty easily. But Johnny McGonigal and I did a pretty fun podcast today where we asked our subtext subscribers to give us questions, and we answered them. It was one of the best podcasts we've done. And we also do mailbags with subtext, and a lot of the things I just said on this video here that you're watching, I gave out to our subtext people long before I put it out here. So yeah, that's something worth joining up with. We have a lot of fun with it. You can chat with us over your phone. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. But yeah, thanks. Max Ralph, PennLive, mini breakdown.